job today. Pulled him right out of those reeds. I thought I was going to lose him. Busted half my line. I used double up 6-pound test and half of it broke. It's hanging there. I got to retie. That is a nice bass. I played that fish just right. Goodbye. Thanks for coming. Big fish. Let's start with a number 6. Streamer hook. Nothing special. This is going to be a small foam froggy fly with feather legs and spinnerbait skirt. Let's get started. And we'll go ahead and use whatever thread I got available. You know, it's the usual thing. You start by threading up the hook. And we'll strap that down real good. Now we'll find a hackle. There it is. Got these nice feathers. They'll make a perfect hackle for the back. And I want some of these longer fibers, so I'm going to break that that feather right there. I'm going to tie it in up here. Right back to where I got to the end. Now we're going to get it all the way back. This is not a wide gap hook, so you got to be aware of how much material you're putting in front of that hook point. Alright. That's probably a little more tucked than what's best. But that puts a lot of motion in the very back of this fly. Now we're going to finish this off. Good wrap. Oh, that's a lot of thread. Nice little whip. Just to get it done. And this is going to be covered in super glue, so it ain't like it's going to come undone anytime soon. So now we got to make the head, which I've got this really cool gold and yellow flashy foam. Look at this stuff, man. It's got yellow on one side and gold. Look at that stuff, man. That's got cool. It's just cool. I like it. All you gotta do is cut a little strip of it, a little bit wider than what you need, because you're gonna trim it down quite a bit. And this is gonna have 3 layers of foam on top. Basically, you take this like this, you fold it like this, and then you fold it like this, and you glue that together, leaving a space at the bottom, leaving a good sized hole at the bottom by folding this like that. See how there's a hole? That's what slips over that hook. It makes it so much easier. So let me blend this thing together and get this thing on the hook. Alright, I folded one side already. Now I'm going to fold that over, except I stuck it to my fingers. And I'm going to fold it over so there is a decent sized gap in the end. Pretty good sized hole. Smash it together. Hold it tight. It only takes a second or so for that super glue to do its thing. See, and this is really thin. Normally, oftentimes I'll do them with 4 layers, but I'm going to keep this one thin because I want it to sit lower in the water. This will make it so just the head of the fly floats. The body will stay below the surface of the water. Once you have that, you can do a dry fit, which is going to work, but it's got some glue in there, so I'm not going to do that. Then you shape it. You start by cutting a nice little angle. That's the first cut. See how much you need here. I like to tilt the back, just like that. Got a big part in the back. Do that. Okay, that's about perfect. And we're going to slip that on there, but before we slip it on there, because man, once that glue sets, it's not moving. So we're going to put some glue on the front part of this. It doesn't take much, because once you go like this and you slide it back, it's going to seize. Alright, now to give the very front, I'm going to trim a little more of this off. I'm going to take a little bit more of this off. I'm going to take that. If you get this fly too tall, it has a tendency to lay over on its side, so I'm going to take that back all the way. Take lots of this meat off the sides. That looks pretty good. It's kind of got a twist to it. I don't know what that's all about. It's minor. Alright, then you take this stuff. Take your extra foam and go ahead and fold it in half. Glue it halves together. I'll show you what that's going to do. We're going to make the eyeballs. I'm going to make this a little bigger than I need to because I'm going to use this. I'm going to make a bunch of eyes out of this stuff. The advantage of this is these eyes add a little bit of float to the fly without adding a lot of weight. I'll get that dried. Now I'll show you what I'll do with a hole punch. Alright, now I've got this thing glued together. It's 2 layers thick. I use just a normal everyday hole punch. And punch out an eyeball. Look at there. A perfectly good eyeball. And I'll dress that up. Since I got this thing put together, I'm going to do a few of them. Now, we're just going to glue these on the side of this fly. What I like to do is make them touch the top and the front. Nice big blob of glue. Don't be shy with the glue. Come on. Right there. puts a lot of foam up front. Put a little squeeze on that. Hold it for a second or two, or a minute. Sometimes when that super glue goes to dry, it smokes. It'll do it in hair, that's for sure. Alright, let's do the same with the other side. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that's close to being, oh, it was. Spin that thing around a little bit so that big side's facing forward. Don't worry about being too precise. It's just a foam fly. And if it works well, the bass are going to tear it up. Not a good fly. Well constructed, you'll get 20 bass or so, 20 fish. This is small enough that large sunfish can get it in their mouth too. That hook gap is very important. This fly will have some pretty good movement in the water. And that material should be soft enough that it won't act like a weed guard or a fish bite guard. I can see that glue's not quite dry. Still see it squeezing out. But there's endless variations on this fly, construction and everything. Squeeze out the excess. That's usually what. I'll take an olive magic marker and darken the top of this fly as best as I can. And wherever that super glue is that isn't dry, it will turn red. Now what I like to do with this foam, because it's not the best foam in the world, it's the cheap stuff. You can see where it's gone red. That's where that super glue had not dried yet. It's not a deal killer, but it kind of adds to the fly. That red around the eyeballs, that kind of adds to the fly. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a nice green stripe forward looking. Well, I've just about ruined these markers working on these flies before that super glue dries. Alright, and then we're going to put a Sharpie marker and make a pupil best we can. I finally just drill it in there. That works good. Now he's got gold eyes, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take fingernail polish and I'm going to coat the body of this thing. Got a pretty good coat on this thing. Especially around those eyeballs. This stuff will help seal it. around the eyeballs. Seal the base. It's got a nice shine to it. I need a little more right there. And give this thing 20, 30, 40 minutes to dry real good. Give it all day if it wants it. Just sit right there. I like to put them like this while they dry. And there you go. There's a very simple little popper. Minimal components, mostly just foam, thread, a little bit of hair, a little bit of feathers, a little bit of flash. All of those things are optional. You could just do it with the very bare minimum, a marabou tail, maybe a little guard hackle, smaller foam, bigger foam, thicker foam. But that's intended to sit low in the water. Just the eyeball should be above the water. Should sit tail down. And it'll probably work. Be good for a few fish anyway, till one grabs a hold of it and breaks my line. Oh, number 2 nice bass. We're approaching 2 pounds on that new fly. And that's why I love a froggy fly. Nice little chunky bass. Right out of the swamp. Isn't that special? I love it. Love bass fishing.